Right, well, welcome, ladies and gents, to HCast episode 11. Yes, I'm aware none of you can see us right now. You don't need to drop it in the chat. So, ladies and gents, HCast episode 11, we have got such an action-packed stream for you all today. Lots of Marvel goodness. The MCU lives on. Ant-Man, Paulie, might have to eat his mustache because of things that he said to do with Ant-Man's box office, and I'm going to point and go, ha, 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 I was right. We have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom of Climate Change. We've, of course, got some other topical elements such as Super Mario, Hellboy's getting a reboot, and some Alien Romulus news, the brand new Alien film. How are we all? Ladies and gents, welcome to the HCast episode 11. I hope you're all well. Sorry I had to miss actual episode 11, and this is technically episode 12, but I was really sick last week, which you can still sound, you can still hear.
I got your cold.
It's auditory. Yeah, I sent it. That was that white stuff in the envelope. You didn't snort it, did you? That was yeah. Okay. Well, that might have been the anthrax, actually. Right, anyway. So, ladies and gents, welcome to the HCast. If you're new here, please do hit the subscribe button on the link in the description box, which is to the second channel, Mistakes Reviews Live Archives, where these streams get clipped. Really good to have you over there. Hit that thumbs up button on your way in. But we are joined with my illustrious panel. We've got Culture Casino.
Greetings. I'm glad to be here. It's lovely to be here on episode 11, 12.
Yeah, we just call it 11, I guess.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so Culture's kind of becoming a bit of a regular. You know, we had some beef. We squashed that beef. You know, you can follow me over on Twitter. So, you know, some issues going on there. Paulie, my co-host with the mustache nose. Mustache nose. That's it. Anyway, Paulie from the Latino Slant. How are you doing?
Greetings, Ant-Man. Quantumania still sucks ass. It's good to be here.
Sucks major bum. And we have Tom Connors from Minute's Edge After Dark. How are you?
Aside from catching your cold, I'm doing okay.
Well, you shouldn't have, slowed that white stuff.
It's going around, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's seasonal. It is the time of year. It's just a bit of a pain in the backside. It's just one of those things, isn't it? So yeah, ladies and gents, if you want to join in the conversation, you want to support the show, support everything we do here on the HCast, super chat. Can't say it enough. YouTube is, I was just chatting before the show, actually, YouTube is like nerfing the channel. They're doing some very strange things with channels at the moment. So yeah, please do use the super chat function, super stickers. A good way to join in the conversation. You know, at each point, once the topic's covered, we then relay the super chats, get you guys involved, and it just helps out. So consider it. But do hit that thumbs up button. It's for free, and that definitely helps out as well. So, first and foremost, Paulie, were you wrong?
No.
You fucking were. Shut up.
I'm never wrong.
You know you were. What did you... Tom, back me up.
About what? Last week, you don't need to go to Tom. Me and you can talk.
Said me and you can Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania wouldn't hit $200 million worldwide.
What did it make worldwide? Culture.
I don't know. 230 odd million.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask. Box Office Mojo had it wrong.
To this moment, if you add in the 4 days, if you give it the 4 days, it looks at a $241 million in well, I guess technically 5 days now.
Okay, I didn't know there was a fourth day.
Yeah, no, it crossed the weekend.
Two, inflation. Right?
What?
And
it's not an argument you gave.
And
not an argument you gave last week.
And 3, that's still crappy.
Of course it's crap. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying you were wrong.
Have it, Mr. Nate. Nate Stachio. Have it.
Well,
Stachio.
Going into to be fair, going into the worldwide box office to Monday, you had 225 all in globally. So
listen, I said, listen, I was like, no one's gonna see this. It's the worst thing ever. 120
but it is
million.
Interesting It is interesting because Rotten Tomatoes have got their audience score fixed, and it is fixed at 84%. It's not moved, but at 84%.
It hasn't budged.
And literally, like they've like doubled their reviews coming in. They're like, yeah, 84% still. 84%.
The more telling one is IMDb has it at 6.6% last I looked, and the cinema score, the more damning of the bunch, is a B. And I know for those of you out there who are like, oh, that ain't bad. No, that is bad for a cinema score, because the cinema score, for those who don't know, is when they poll people as they come out the theater. Most films score somewhere in the A to A minus range on average. If it hits the B, that's bad, because that's usually when people are not enjoying the film so much. Like, it very rarely does a film fall below a B minus.
I'm just gonna say two things.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This movie sucks balls.
It was a terrible film,
and this movie sucks balls.
It was truly an awful film, actually.
It's such a bad film.
Who's seen it outside of just me? And have you seen it, Culture?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I saw it really,
Have you seen it, Tom? You haven't seen it.
No, I'm not wasting my fucking.
Of course not. Anyway, Culture, Paulie, this film was absolutely atrocious. What a disjointed mess.
Wretched.
Genuinely a disjointed mess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was wretched, beginning to end. It was a hot mess. I counted at least 7 contrivances while I was sitting in the theater. I stopped taking notes at how bad things were about 2/3.
Why didn't the Kangs kill Kang?
I don't know. Why did they exile him?
Because reasons.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many reasons, so many plot needs this to happen moments that you were like, okay. I've told this story multiple times now, but I was in a row all by myself. This is a massive theater, right? There's, it's lettered A to Z, A to Z, as you would say, and then there's at least 20, 25 seats per row, right? Yeah. And there were 26 people in my theater. There was a dude behind me. He was the only one person in his row. He was 2 seats over. He's sawing logs halfway through the film, dude. Like everybody in the theater can hear him sawing logs. He's
no, I did nod for a second. I did. And I had no reason to nod. It wasn't late. I was in a good mood, right? But slowly it just kills you. It kills you, that film.
I made the grievous error of having a extra large Coke Zero.
Oof.
I forgot there was caffeine in there. I was awake for quite some time that night. I watched this at like 7 o'clock, and I was like, that'd be fine. Yeah. And I completely forgot there was caffeine in Coke Zero. And I'm like, driving home, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling all right. I'm like, and then like message saying, I've just come out of the cinema. I've just had this, I had a Coke. I'm on a diet, obviously, because I'm prepping for a bodybuilding show. So I'm like, I just had like, a little bit of a treat with a Coke Zero. It's not a treat, but I'm like, I had a Coke Zero, a bit of a treat. And all I get back is like caffeine. I'm like, oh no. Like awake way too late. But it was such a bad film. Like MODOK as well. God damn. I don't think anything really. Nothing really. Nothing braced me for how bad MODOK truly was. Those visual effects of his face were utterly atrocious.
Well, they did a terrible job of stretching his face on whatever they laid on top of that pseudo screen they did with the CGI, but it was terrible. Yeah, but I mean, they kept it. They knew this was not going to be a good film because they kept revising the projections downward, from where they thought it would find itself. And every minute, like I said, every minute I sat there past like the first 20, I was like, can we go somewhere now? Can we do something? Could we have an adventure? There was at least 40 minutes that I was like, this is a waste of my time.
Well, the whole film was a waste of everyone's time. I think like nothing will prepare me quite for how dumb Michelle Pfeiffer's Janet Van Dyne really is. Just being like, like what? So she didn't tell anyone what was down there because she was getting railed by Bill Murray. Is that what it is?
Yes.
It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Gross.
And then she killed some people, but she didn't. And because she was a superhero, she would have known that that's okay and people die, and it's unfortunate. It's so dumb. Anyway. Don't want to get too into this. I just thought we'd cover it a little bit at the start because
go see some other films.
You go see Cocaine Bear this weekend. I'm going to go see Cocaine Bear.
I'm going
Friday. I cannot wait. I'm so looking forward to that. I
Miami.
honestly
going
do
Thursday night.
think, I honestly think that's going to smash Ant-Man. Like, yeah.
I don't think Hollywood's prepared for how good the film is going to do, because projections early on domestic were like what, between 5 and 12 million, Paulie? It was like really low.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah,
It
it
was-
was.
All I know is every time they show that trailer in the theaters, and I go to the theaters a lot, right?
Everyone
It is
loves.
the biggest reaction.
Yeah.
Bigger,
Yeah.
and it's families of like all kinds of people
Yeah.
from different backgrounds. They are cracking up at that movie. They're all going to go to that film.
I'm
I
going.
don't care
also-
if it's R. I don't care whatever.
I also really like what they've done with the trailers to that. Have you seen it now? Because they're obviously really on it with respect to the social media reaction, because they're like, you haven't even seen it, and it's your favorite movie
Oh,
of
really?
the year. It's a
That's
cult
great.
classic, and it's like,
That's funny.
you're smart, like you're on it, because
Yep.
they're quoting Twitter users, just going like, this is fucking amazing. I have to see this film. This looks great. A bear does coke, all this kind of stuff. You're like, yeah, no, like you're right. It looks so good.
I think it's going to smash the box office. It could displace domestically here in the States. It could displace Ant-Man. Tom and I have talked about it. I think Paulie probably weighed in on it. You probably have as well, Mr. H.
Yeah,
But
I've covered this. I mean, I've covered Cocaine Bear from the very first trailer, because I was like, from the very first poster that dropped, and then the trailer dropped the following day. I was like, this looks insane. So smart.
Yeah.
So smart.
I mean, it's interesting. The box office is interesting because everything's roaring back. So as long as we still have a country, it's roaring back. Sorry, wrong stream. But
I got a pillow.
what do you guys think that there's going to be a major drop off for Ant-Man?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there'll be a 60% drop off anyway. That's the average for a Marvel film. About 60%. And I think this will do 60% easily as a drop off. That's the average Marvel drop off, second week, 60%. Tom, what do you think?
I mean, it's going to be tough for a movie like Cocaine Bear to muster up the amount of money it's going to need to knock this off the top spot. But these are strange times.
Think about Joker, remember?
Oh no, I know. And I've had a lot of people, who disagree with me when I say it could happen. But I have a feeling that when we come Sunday, we're going to have, they're going to act like Ant-Man took the top spot. But there's going to be a discrepancy somewhere between about $5 million. And by Monday morning, just watch Cocaine Bear eke out a victory at like 45 million compared to Ant-Man's 40 million or 43 million. You know what I mean? It's going to be neck and neck.
I think
I mean, there'll be a massive drop off for Ant-Man anyway.
I do think so.
Easy. That's the average for a Marvel flick. And I just think as well, like, there's what was the last adult film that came out just solely for adults? It was Megan, wasn't it? Really, there wasn't really an adult film.
That got lucky, and they
Violent Night
cut it down to PG-13, so that helped its that helped its spot.
I'd say
But
Violent Night more, and the menu, Violent Night, the menu,
and Terrifier also. Like there seems to be a crowd for this. Like they're projecting right now. What is the more recent projections, Culture? Do you know, for Cocaine Bear? I know they were projecting it in the high end. Oh, it's only getting 12.
Yeah,
I know the high end. They were saying it could do up to 36 million. I was like, yeah, I could see it doing 40 because Megan did 40. Yeah, and I mean, I talked to a few people, and I should have probably looked into it some more, but I think Megan could have made more money had it not been for Avatar taking up all the big screens.
And Knock on the Cabin.
They pulled Megan and started putting on streaming as well. You got to remember that.
Yeah,
I mean, that will also play a factor.
Yeah, I mean, you had the same factor with Puss in Boots too, but with Cocaine Bear, they did do the Super Bowl ad, so now a lot of people are aware of this movie.
Oh yeah, you know what they did? They pushed it up. They pushed it up to. They did push it up to 36 million. You're right, Tom.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last projections were at 36. Yeah.
And now Knock on the Cabin is available for streaming as of today for $19 to $24 a pop.
I know that didn't do as well as they were hoping, but that's average.
The article just came out that it's hidden sooner than expected.
That's a shame because Knock at the Cabin's a decent film. I like Knock at the Cabin.
That's a
It's
really
not
good film.
amazing, but it's a decent film.
Well,
I don't
here,
think people want that kind of movie right now, but yeah.
Here's the thing for me, like I thought it was okay, but when I saw it again with Romy, like we were like, wow, that's some good stuff.
From a secondary perspective, or just 'cause you've seen it once, or
right. And
I still feel like
I don't know, it was very entertaining.
I still feel like the first few scenes look like they were shot by someone completely different, weird angles and stuff, just a bit odd. But anyway, we digress a little bit. But yeah, so I reckon
we're talking about adult films, right, or our films. But so Cocaine Bear, how's it gonna do?
How is it gonna do? I reckon I could definitely see it doing 40.
40.
I reckon it might surprise people around the globe as well. I think because Ant-Man did pretty well in the UK, but I think Cocaine Bear could do really well in the UK. Like I'm being shown a lot of adverts for Cocaine Bear, and obviously that's geographical location as well as age and stuff.
Right.
So I reckon I do think Cocaine Bear will do really well in the UK as well. Like I think that will surprise people. I don't think they quite realize what they had on their hands. And I think the marketing for it has been perfect. I don't think that there's another way you could do the marketing, especially now. I've seen them starting to quote like Twitter users and be like, it's your favorite film you haven't even seen yet, like all this kind of stuff. I'm like, that's great. Like I don't think of anything. I couldn't think of anything better that they could do marketing wise. Aside from actually getting a bear high on cocaine, because that would be funny, and obviously awful. Don't do that.
Yeah, go ahead, Paulie.
No, I'm just looking at the dailies from yesterday. Knock of the Cabin's still number 6, made over 31 million against its 20 million, against its 20 million budget. That's just domestic. And you figure it'll make a few more bucks. I mean, that's not great, but it's not bad.
Well, and again, I heard they weren't too happy with it. Yeah.
Well, M. Night signed a new deal with someone, so I mean, his stardom's coming back up.
And Puss in Boots jumped over Avatar yesterday for 1.7 over Avatar 1.4. It looks like Avatar is starting to fade fast.
But this is the thing. Like the moment other films come out, it was gonna. Like, of course, it was gonna. And this is why people were stupid not to open up a film against it. Not like immediately against it, but in the midst of it being out a bit sooner, because you didn't need to give it such a wide berth.
Megan tried, but that was what I was told was part of the problem was like, especially the smaller theaters. I mean, I don't know how AMC and some of the other ones may have been able to deal with it, but they were told they had to keep Avatar in the bigger screens for the first 30 days. And that's what I was being told was that Megan was selling out in the smaller screens, but yet they had, their big screens showing Avatar, and they weren't even nearly half full most of the time, and it kind of pissed them off because they could have sold more Megan tickets.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense.
Well, and again, I mean, we're all projecting these enormous returns for Cocaine Bear. The industry is not there. They still think they still want to put it at 12 million in their opening weekend.
That's where I was kind of tempering our expectations, because this is an R-rated film.
Yeah,
it is a bit of a niche kind of horror film, but
they're not niche promoting it now.
No.
I know they're not. I know, and I hope it has.
Like, you would have been right a month ago. I would have been like, yeah.
The ability. Well, I just don't want us to be like all disappointed if the damn thing only makes $20 million this weekend.
I mean, I'll be disappointed anyway, but I'm still going to go in with gusto and optimism. But I will be disappointed if it only makes 20 million. I will absolutely be disappointed. It should definitely make more than that. It's a film that, from all intents and purposes, having not seen it,
going off of Megan,
looks like it definitely should earn more than that from that.
I think so. The other problem it'll have is a lot of people, like kids, will be paying to go see Ant-Man while sneaking into Cocaine Bear. That's the other problem you'll have.
That's not as rife as you think, man.
It is more than you think.
You know what? Let's hold off on that one until we get the numbers. But again, I'm telling you, like families were like all busting up at this trailer. So maybe they'll all go together. The budget on Cocaine Bear, they're saying 35 to 39 million.
Yep,
I can believe that. The majority that's shot on location. Majority that's just the visual effects for Cokie.
and
Yeah,
and lots of practical stuff. Yeah.
yeah. But let's shuffle it. We've got one super chat that dropped in. So again, you want to support the show, super chats are a good way to do that, and obviously join in the conversation. And it's from Gary for £5. Says, did you notice how Kang's soldiers reuse the same guns Star-Lord has instead of coming up with new gun designs? No.
Wow.
What? Did they?
The whole Gary,
I did not notice that.
thank you for the super chat, but the whole film's a retread. The entire film's a effing retread. Everything on every level about it. Retread. Like, did I see those guns in that film? Did I see that background in that film? Yeah, you did.
The aesthetic,
Retread.
God, that aesthetic sucks.
I hate it.
God, honestly, I could bitch about this film all day, but we are going to move on and bitch about Marvel in general. And why do I say that? Obviously, I don't want to just hate on Marvel. It's more the current trend of Marvel, which we've all coined as the MCU. It's been used time and time again. It's a coined phrase now, but the MCU is real. Now, it's something which we've said that Marvel have denied. They've adamantly denied it time and time and time again, and now they're admitting it. So it's one of those things that, like, it's not happening. Don't worry about it. You're just a misogynist. It's not happening. We'll make She-Hulk to rip on you. It's not happening. Yeah, it's happening.
This is their MO, right? This is always it's move the goalpost, move the goalpost, move the goalpost, change the argument.
So
it's like, oh well, yeah, of course we are, and meaning that we are just makes you a thisophobe now.
Yeah. So it was part of this. I read it as part of this because this caught my eye. I was like, oh, Marvel exec says Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man's no longer on the table. I'm like, well, that makes sense. Who cares? But then it was part of this. It was in an interview of IO9, and they say this. Well, I think one of the meta narratives of Phase 4 was about new characters. That's fine. Not going to cry about that. That's fine. It was about new people stepping into mantles. And then the two examples he gives. If you look at, like, Cassie Lang getting a suit. Oh, and Kate Bishop. New characters being introduced, like Jack in Werewolf by Night. So literally, the two examples he gives of people stepping into mantles, and stepping into a mantle is stepping into a position that's already there, a mantle, a namesake. It's there. A fucking Cassie and Kate Bishop. The MCU, ladies and gents. They admit it. The MCU. What do we think?
If I could add to that really quickly, those two characters, the MCU shills on Twitter have been posting those two together. You know, my dreams come true, and the next Avengers. I'm like, that was quick.
Yeah,
that was quick.
Yeah, but then they also say,
and these are terrible characters, by the way.
So it's kind of like a new generation stepping to the forefront, which again has always happened in the comics. Well, it hasn't. It has, but it hasn't. They've stepped to the forefront, but the characters were still there. You're just replacing characters. I mean, could you be any more blatant about it? For months, years, they're like, no, that's not happening, guys. What, you're just a misogynist. We don't know what you're talking about. That's not happening. What? No. Boom. Yeah, well, yeah, they're stepping into mantles. Yeah, of course they are. It's happening. You're a misogynist still, even though you were right. They literally made a whole show to spit in your face about this. She-Hulk. That was the entire premise of She-Hulk, to spit in your face. If anyone needs any more proof that Kevin Feige and Marvel and Disney hate you, I don't know what to tell you. This is it. This is the proof, surely.
And in my experience in reading comics is that the new characters, the new generation, they were always, organically, brought in. But the old characters, they never went away. First of all, exactly. they were never old.
Exactly. They never went anywhere. They were still there.
And then the ones that didn't work, guess what? Those comics died. Yeah, but that to me, but then again, I'm talking like the 80s and 90s. I stopped.
Well, no, but all the comics, there's still comics which have had that, and then they failed. They're some of the worst ones. Ironheart, that was a shit comic. That was a failure. You've got the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster. That was a failure as well. And then they still do it. Such culture. I see you munching
no,
away on the inside of your look, there, getting annoyed.
Look, I mean, we've been calling it out forever. That's the thing. I mean, you're not wrong. We've been yelling about this for a long time, saying, could you please, develop these characters? Sure, I got you, but don't replace one with the other, because it's detrimental to your efforts, right? We create a derivative. Sure, this is your sidekick for now. You're saddled with this other thing that is going to develop alongside you, but rather than do that, they've tried to jumpstart these characters in various ways. I mean, you just talked about the She-Hulk show, but I mean, Echo and the Bishop and all this other stuff, all these shows that are now put on indefinite hold at the moment. These things were, meant to jumpstart these characters into roles they are not really they're not interesting. The comics failed. I mean, they are always leaning into failure, which makes no sense to me. Every single one of these, and yeah, I mean, you said it precisely, and the person in the article said it precisely. They are literally, stepping into mantles. They're literally stepping into, the better men.
This is literally right.
Yeah.
This is the Marvel Studios VP of Production Development, Stephen Broussard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's literally a Marvel exec saying, "Yeah, that's what we're doing."
Yeah. I wonder if Vicky's going to pin him on the punishment table later for saying that, because it's probably not really something they want.
I don't know. I don't know. Some of this stuff, man, people they hold off for so long denying it, and then when it comes out, they're like, "Yeah, we don't care. Who cares? Who cares now? It's fine. Who gives a shit? It's fine."
Well, they're liars. And look, I mean, and you're right. I mean, the She-Hulk was there to make fun of us, and specifically some people who we know who they are, and that's fine. But it also points to the fact that we're right, and they know that we're right, and they don't like being called out on their stuff. And again,
now you're so right there, aren't you? Is that like, they think that they're so smart that no one's going to notice what they're doing, and then when we're like, "Oh, you've just done this," they're like,
"No, we didn't.
No, it's not what we're doing." You're like, give it a year, you'll just admit it.
Well, like I said, that's where the goalpost moving comes in, and then you get the pivot, right? Yeah. And the pivot is where they turn around and, "Oh, of course, that's what we're doing all along." And you're an instaphobe for even noticing in the first place. Like, that's what they'll turn it to. It's always a gaslighting game. It's always a pivot, and again, we're getting to the point where they're kind of cornered now in a lot of these things.
They're screwed.
That's where we're seeing a lot of changes, and even the headlines can't hide the fact that this is a big disappointment for Marvel, right? Like, even what was it? The Hollywood Reporter said, like, a cautionary tale.
Yeah. Well,
even though it was a win, it's like, oh, what kind of win was this? Oh, that it beat the last fucking Batman movie. Who cares? Sorry about my French there, but like,
you're right. You're right. This is the best in the franchise. I'm like, yes, adjusted for inflation, though, maybe not so much. But
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. When you look at it, and then today, what's even worse is Iger has an Ant-Man problem. That was in Variety's VIP section today. It's like, yes, Iger has a MCU problem, is what he has. It's bigger than Ant-Man. And Kang, look, I mean, now this is our second adventure with Kang, and so far I've not impressed, right? And not only that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that's the only thing you can argue, right? Is that some people really like Kang, some people didn't. But that's like the only valuable argument. Everything else in this movie is just pure trash.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing about that, right, though, talking about Kang just briefly, is that this version of Kang is the same, is a different mentality, but basically the same version of Kang that we got in Loki. He's doing the same thing that He Who Remains did, snuffing out timelines, but just in a much, more nasty and violent way. He's not doing anything actually different. And the character development, you already introduced Kang. Nothing about, like, Kang is really different here. He's just a different personality, but he's doing the same thing. He Who Remains in Loki kept the multiverse in check by snuffing out different timelines, right? So his different variants didn't lose control. He did that, so he kept control of all the variants, and he was the only one. What's Kang doing? The new Kang snuffing out timelines because he doesn't want the other Kangs to destroy everything, basically, or rule everything. It's the same bloody thing.
Yeah.
So we've already had this character. Obviously, it's a different character, but it's this. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically there's nothing different in terms of character development. You don't really know why he's doing it anything further than what was explained with He Who Remains. So, from a character development perspective, what was the point? You're going to introduce the character again, do something different, or at least give us a bigger story.
Well, they did it with the smallest hero is the problem, right? Literally. And the other problem that I had with all of this was that you've just used a $250 million movie to introduce another television show, the third season of Loki.
Yeah. You know, I dropped my pencil. But, you know, someone had said, they were looking for the new Loki season 2 trailer. And I said, it's in Ant-Man.
It is. It's Ant-Man.
The Ant-Man movie. Jesus.
Bad.
Yeah, super dumb.
I'm curious to see what the drop off this on the second weekend is going to be.
You know what, we were going to talk about that. Yeah,
it's got to be got to be like 60%, 60% minimum. Like that's the average for a Marvel movie, and that's why that's why I can confidently say, which I did say on Monday, I'm like, it's a bomb, because it's not made that much money opening weekend. We know it won't make much more money now moving forwards. And people always go, yeah, but Black Panther did. No, Black Panther's a bomb too. That barely scraped any profit. That's not good for Marvel at all. So, but yeah, I just, the MCU, it's just frustrating. Just admit it when everyone says it. Hi, Nick. You got anything else to say there?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Go on then.
Oh, I was just, I heard a little bit of the conversation while I was dealing with work crap, but with you guys talking about
your favorite thing, A-Force.
Yeah, A-Force. But I after watching the Loki season 1. And from what I hear about Kang and stuff, I'm really not even interested in this villain. Like Thanos was that mysterious. Like, who is this guy? Like, I knew who he was because I've read the comics, but the way they drew him out over multiple movies and kind of kept that mystery, and then you learned he's like the big baddie, in this time travel stuff. Is dumb to me. I'm not a fan of it.
I mean, it also wasn't just that, was it? It was also the fact that with Thanos, he was introduced at the end of each movie, and the movie itself was a self-contained story, which just so happened to be part of Thanos's, grander plan to grab something or do something. So they were very smart about how they wrote those movies. Now they're just like, there you go. There's a movie literally solely as a vehicle to introduce this guy that no one gives a fuck about. Oh, all right, cool. Thanks.
Well, but again, this is the weird thing, right? So you have a handful of people who saw this King, or Jonathan Majors' King, at the end of the first season of Loki, right? Yeah. So not a lot of people have been exposed to him, and yet the red carpet events for the premieres for this character, that's all they talked about. Oh, and Jonathan Majors is a force of nature, is Kang. And I was just like, you could not possibly be pumping this up in the most artificial, and it's like syrupy sweet in a way that it's not lost on anyone what you're trying to do here. You're trying to artificially create a big bad out of whole cloth without actually developing him, which you just described, and Nick just described how they built up Thanos, right? It's going to be junk.
And these I've been seeing like a lot of these like shill sites, like with titles like Ant-Man 3 soars with 225 million global box office. Like, oh man, like it's Ant-Man 3 is killing it. Like, this is the greatest movie. Everybody should go see it. I'm like 225. It's probably not going to go too much higher than that by the end of its run.
Well,
It-
it'll cross 500 million for sure.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
do 500 million, I reckon. That film, the films that are coming out, I think will now struggle to cross 750. 500 million it'll do. 750 will be a struggle. That's my hot take, basically.
Yeah, I don't
That's my
see a
hot-
$1 billion Marvel movie happening
fuck
again.
Oh,
in
again?
movies.
Well, the same writer that wrote Ant-Man is writing the Kang Dynasty. So take from that what
Guardians
you will.
might be able to just pull it off, but like, yeah, outside of
I-
Spider-Man, I don't see
I-
a Marvel movie
yeah.
pulling
I
it off.
see that at
anytime
8.
soon.
Tom, I see that at 875, 950, man.
Guardians.
I
Okay.
said just barely.
Okay.
He said just barely, Culture. Come on.
Okay. Okay.
You're saying the same things.
Okay.
Barely.
Barely.
If it hits over 900 million, that's successful enough for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll shuffle on. We've got a super chat here for Paulie, although I think Paulie's disappeared.
Bye, Polly.
It's from Warachi, I think. For $5, says Paulie, unrelated question. What is the movie going experience seeing things with Chris Gore and crew? I assume a lot of industry knowledge being said. Well, Paulie's not here, so we can all pretend we're Paulie and
Okay.
answer that question.
It
Tom?
sucks.
Oh, Chris Gore's awesome. What are you doing?
I
Nick?
stroke my mustache
No, I'm
endlessly.
joking.
I'm too preoccupied with my mustache to worry about what Chris is doing.
Yeah. That's probably true.
I just got here. What happened?
Oh no! I was gonna rip on your necks.
We were pretending to be you to answer the
Oh, that's
super
fun.
chat.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna enjoy this.
I like tacos and burritos. And, they get
Hey,
stuck
at
in my
least I didn't-
mustache.
I didn't go racist at least. Jeez.
Wow.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. Sue me, everyone. Yeah, I'll be as much
Oh,
of
you
an
might,
ist as
Megan
I want.
and what's his face might sue you. Careful.
Yeah.
No, Megan and
Paulie,
Harry.
do you want to answer this question, my dude? So it says,
What's
Paulie, unrelated
some-
question. What is the movie
Yeah.
going experience seeing things with Chris Gore and crew? I assume a lot of industry knowledge being said. Yes or no?
Yeah,
Or
just a no.
just say your experience, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, well, the movie going
you
experience
eat
with man, I had an energy crash.
Burrito.
So no, I'm eating very
With a
boring
mojito.
trail mix. Oh my god! Say that one more time.
With the mojito. With the mojito.
Okay, movie going experience with Chris Gore and crew is always a good time. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. These are
See,
very huge movie nerds. First of all, they're very nice personalities. So Gore, Allen, Verbal Riot. Then you have some other film critics, Eric Weber, and when we disagree on stuff, which is quite often, we just take the piss out of each other. We have a lot of fun. And that's how it should be.
Yep.
Industry knowledge. Some of these guys get to see stuff. Some of these guys get to see stuff months in advance. So it's interesting to pick their brains. And I can't, kind of divulge certain info, but like how we talked about like that last cut of Ant-Man. That was through that.
Yeah.
That was through that.
Yeah.
That crew.
Which is definitely confirmed with that film now.
Info on Blue Beetle, was through that crew.
Mm.
And then, honestly, I get a lot of insight when I watch films with Romy. Just as far as how an actor approaches character, how well a character is written, the dialogue, because her insight is just really on point. And it makes sense because that's the no nonsense type of actor she is. So that's a lot of fun to get her insight because I find her particularly brilliant. So that's why I'm with her. Hello. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
All right, cool. Mucho gracias. Nikki has been a member for 22 months. Supporter level 0.5. So thank you so much. have a taco. Moving on.
What the fuck, dude? Really? I mean, can't you at least be funny with some of that shit?
Oh,
No,
man.
Go.
I don't know.
Thank you, Tom.
I do not claim to be funny all the time. It is impossible. I do apologize, but I will at least keep trying, and we'll get some duds here and there.
Hey, you
Yeah,
get an A for
that's
effort.
It's what it is.
A for effort.
It's all good. No, honestly, I do appreciate that.
See,
Nikki, thank you so much.
Quiero
So moving on
Latino
to the next topic, which is Captain Marvel got absolutely bitch slapped into November 10th, opening actually up against June Part 2. It got pushed right out of summer and has been bitch slapped to November 10th. What do we think about this? This is
You guys smell that?
real bad.
No.
I smell reshoots.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
This,
But
this
also,
I was gonna say
look at
something
this
really
dirty.
poster.
Yeah.
Look at this awful poster as well. I mean,
Yeah.
what is this? Look at her. She's just coming out of like what is this?
oh, so much
What is
vagina.
It's the butthole of the universe.
well, I was going to say something really nasty, but
Don't be
Okay,
mean.
so you guys are looking at this wrong, right? Okay, so you at the top you have obviously the clitoris, and in the center.
Keep it
Huh?
PG. Goodness.
Oh, I'm
me.
sorry. That was PG. Wait a
That
minute.
was the
clitoris is a
clinical
very it's a
term.
medical term, dude. It's a medical
Yeah,
term. Come
well,
on.
does YouTube? I mean, YouTube doesn't like people speaking about medical things. It seems.
Oh, okay.
We learned that. We learned that during the.
If you say the
touche.
male
lockdown,
clitoris, it
touche.
might let you say it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's little man in the boat. Okay, and
Man in the boat. The bean. Just say the bean.
oh, okay, all right.
Say
Little
say
man
say
in the
the chili bean. We bring some Latin representation
All right.
here.
And then Bree's definitely the point of entry, and I think that's a little on the nose, right? Because of her name, Bree. I'm
Blue
not
hole?
going to go into why.
Cheese. You mean cheese
Yeah.
Larson. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And then
Rehole.
you have the unfortunate. I'm not going to go into what's happening here. It's just bad.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not lost on any of us what this is supposed to be visually.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a crap poster. Higher, further, faster, together. Haven't they removed? They've removed the Nova. Nova's in this, isn't he? So they removed him from the poster. Pretty certain Nova's in here, and they're just like, yeah, we'll get him out of the poster.
Too
Don't worry
much
about
white
him.
male representation.
Yeah. This
But-
has got to be strong female representation here.
Strong women. But I mean,
strong female representation, but they're taking a dump on the Pakistani girl. I mean, what the f?
Yeah, it's not good.
Seriously.
Well, it's because the other two are strong lesbian and she's not.
Well,
Yeah,
anyway, let's
this-
just keep it a little bit on track.
Okay, fine.
November 10th is absolutely like
Richie,
Richie maybe. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, that was
Oh,
weird.
we're
What
getting
is
echo.
going on there?
What's happening
Someone get some goddamn headphones in. Hate listening to myself. Yeah, I mean, this is like, huge.
You guys
huge,
laugh,
huge
but how much
spin-off
you want
out
to
of
bet
summer.
it comes out that those two characters are actually gay?
Dude, this reeks absolutely
That has
stinks.
been the rumor coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but sure, whatever. That's not the main point about this. Who cares about that? The main point about this is November 10th. They've pushed it way out.
You think
They're
I'm actually
opening
going
this
to watch
up.
it?
No, of course not. You don't watch any movie, Tom. Come on.
That's right.
You haven't even watched that, man.
I don't know.
You won't even go watch Cocaine Bear this weekend. I know.
No, is the only movie I've watched. No,
That's a-
no, I
that's a
actually-
Thursday
I-
night.
Literally, you
November
won't even
10th.
go watch Cocaine Bear. You
I'm
suck,
thinking
man.
about going to see Cocaine Bear. That's not
yes.
true. I
That's-
told
oh, you
Polly
thought
last
about
night.
it?
Yeah.
You thought about it.
It's still an hour I got to drive.
This is the worst possible placement for a film because guess what comes out the Friday before this?
June part 2.
Dune.
Dune.
Top Gun. Top
Yeah,
Gun.
that's what I said. June part 2.
Yeah, right. And then what comes out the following week?
I did know
Top Gun.
this, but I can't remember. It's
Titanic.
quite another
The
big film.
Hunger,
isn't it?
Hunger Games sequel, right?
Yes. The same target
God.
audience.
Yeah.
It's literally
That's
the
the same target
same
audience.
bloody audience.
Yeah. And then if you are going to take kids to anything, you're going to take them to Trolls 3, which opens the weekend after this,
Oh my god!
right? And then and then
They
you know,
managed to squeeze out another troll movie during the pandemic somehow.
yes,
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
all.
Well,
that's all-
World Tour did really well for being a day
I
and date.
know that came out right at the beginning of
Okay.
the pandemic. Yeah.
But let's go back to this poster. This is not an appealing poster.
No.
It sucked. It's awful.
They changed the poster and they changed the date.
Yep.
I mean, this is not this does not bode well.
No.
My name is Nate. Does not
Well,
bode
they
well.
moved it. They moved it from the end of July, wasn't it? It was end of July. They moved it from. So
It had a pretty good spot.
yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible.
Better than this. Better than
Yes.
this.
And
Yeah.
they're not going to get the Thanksgiving holiday audience here in the States. I
This will
mean,
get absolutely obliterated.
Well, listen, they can all be gay. I don't give a shit. Is this an entertaining film? Is it
No.
gonna rock?
No.
The last one
Obviously not.
sucked.
I mean, it was terrible. All these movies have been terrible.
there's no argument.
Yeah.
I'll even concede Shang-Chi was mediocre, but I was compared to these movies, I was entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually surprisingly didn't completely hate Shang-Chi. I
I
didn't
didn't
love
hate
it.
Shang-Chi.
I didn't love it, but
I
I
didn't
thought
say
it was
anything,
okay. I thought it was okay.
It was warm milk that was only maybe a day old.
Yeah.
And it's become worse just because what's his name? It's such a little punk ass bitch.
Simu Liu.
Oh, I hate him so
Yeah.
much. He's so weird.
Yeah. So he's so yeah. I don't. You know, that's a different subject.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
But
I thought we'd dive
yeah.
into that. I thought it was just funny. So yeah, that's going to get absolutely ripped apart. Absolutely ripped apart.
Yeah.
So let's shuffle on now.
Who's
Oh,
the
what?
girl at the very bottom on that poster?
That's
That's,
part of the
um,
problem, Nick.
Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel, isn't it?
The
From
least
TV
watched
series.
Marvel series of all.
And
Even
probably
though
the
it
most
got
likable
praise.
character.
Oh,
though,
Yeah,
of those three.
Paulie loves this. He thinks
I
it's
completely
amazing.
forgot
So
about
not only
that
is
show.
this
I
a
haven't watched
sequel to Captain Marvel, this is also a sequel to WandaVision. Because that's
Yes.
where the
Is it?
character at the top comes from.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god!
This is also a sequel to that other show. So this is almost set up for, and this is what I've been talking about, how the weight of the universe is going to just destroy this whole thing, because now you have a situation where it was the same thing with Doctor Strange, where if you hadn't seen WandaVision and Spider-Man No Way Home, you were completely
Yeah, he
freaking
just
lost.
struggled.
And I mean, it's one thing to see a movie, but to sit through a series is a whole nother ask of an audience.
Well, I think this will be interesting, won't it? Is that this will be the true test of whether they've learned anything from Doctor Strange, right? Because if they just hit this movie with the ground running and don't explain anything, then yeah, they've not learned anything. If they spend some time, but I'm not saying this is good, but if they spend some time explaining who these characters are and what they are and how they got powers and stuff, then they've learned stuff. But then they haven't learned stuff, because you shouldn't be making this movie like that anyway. Because that's needless exposition time. It's needless time that you didn't need to do because you made people watch a shitty TV series.
Yeah.
So all in all, like, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Because you shouldn't have to watch a TV series to understand what's happening in a movie.
This
I
is
heard there
why
was
I
a
hate
lot of
that.
confused people at the end of Ant-Man 3.
Well, and Nick will know what I'm talking about, especially
Yeah.
when it comes to the Star Wars expanded universe. This is why I hate it when so-and-so's are like, well, actually, it was in this novel or this comic book where this character did this. And it's like, dude, I shouldn't have to fucking do
Yeah.
homework to understand a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
cool that you have these extra things that are expanded
but-
parts of the story, but it
but
should
not all
not.
the
And
time.
this was all the time, yes, Polly, because this was the freaking problem with Alien Covenant. There was two
Yeah, I was about to say
scenes that were
About to
on
say that.
YouTube that you had to go
No, no, no.
watch to understand what was
what-
going on in the damn movie.
No, what I mean, Tom, is that it's cool to have those every now and then, but not
Yeah.
all the time.
No, but I mean,
it's a pain in the ass.
It's
my
even
thing,
worse,
Polly,
actually,
is
what
it
you're
shouldn't
saying
be
there.
required. That's my point.
Absolutely.
Well, Tom,
Like
what
you guys
saying
were
is even
talking about how
worse.
Kang was different in Loki. I didn't see Loki.
Yeah. Well,
So
okay,
my
yeah.
experience
Miss
watching
anything.
Kang.
You didn't miss anything.
I
Yeah,
didn't
but
hate
you guys
it.
are saying like you guys had that reference. It's like fuck. Now do I have to go see Kang the
No,
Loki
you don't.
thing?
No, you don't.
No.
What
Anyway.
you're saying, Tom's actually even worse of Alien Covenant is that they then
Yeah.
further explained even more in a novel.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, actually, this is the real reason. You're like, fuck off. Like,
Well, they did
go
the same
away
thing
now.
with Star Wars. Remember when they had to re-explain shit? What was it in the Last Jedi novel and stuff like that? It's like, wait a minute here. If you got to put it in the novel,
Yeah.
then that means that's the opposite problem, though, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the other
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
Well, let's this is getting heated, but let's.
Well,
we're
I
talking
was just
about-
saying, it was just like it just
No,
bothers me.
It's just a good segue. So we're speaking about, of course, Alien Covenant. There's a new Alien movie happening, Alien Romulus, and we've got some brand new details about it. It's a very interesting.
What have the Romulans got to do with Alien? Oh, Romulus.
Oh dear, oh dear. Goodness.
So they're gonna be on Romulus
No.
in the Star Trek universe.
That'd be really neat.
God, do you know where Romulus comes from? Don't you? Right?
Star Trek.
No, are you
That-
joking me?
No.
That's where I know it from.
Yeah, that's where I most
Romulus was the
associated.
legendary founder and the first king of Rome.
Ah,
Okay.
You didn't know that?
No.
you need a little now you know thing.
Yeah.
Dun,
Wait,
dun,
I have-
dun.
do I
Yeah,
have-
with a little star flying across the street. There you go.
Now you
Mr.
know.
H teaches instead of Mr.
Well-
H review. Mr. H teaches.
I used to be a teacher.
Awesome. I can see
Oh,
that.
really?
You know what I this? I used to be a teacher before I did this. No, true story.
They let
People
you
always
near
think I'm joking
children?
about
No,
that.
I'm just kidding.
Ah.
Well, not after that first week, but yeah.
I was gonna say you
Um,
probably scared them to death.
So basically, Fede Alvarez is working on Alien Romulus. We covered this actually here on the stream before, so it shows how much you pay attention.
Yeah, but I don't think it had a name yet, though, did it?
That was the name. That was that was what we covered. The name had just been
Oh,
revealed,
maybe I
yeah.
missed it. Then I didn't pay attention.
No, you were here. You just didn't pay attention. So anyway, Alien Romulus, Fede Alvarez is working on it. But we've got some. This is potential spoilers here,
Oh,
and it basically audition videos have surfaced.
God, I hope it
Or-
doesn't take place on Earth.
No, well, no, definitely not from this.
Okay.
Looks like some stuff may. It's obviously on a habitable planet. But there's 3 characters here. So there's a character called Bjorn, which we see here, played by this chap. And then there's he's doing these scenes, this guy. And then there's another character called Rain, who AVP Galaxy say is probably going to be Kaylee Spaney's character, and her android brother, Andy, which is hilarious because if you think about it, it's Andy Droid.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Droid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the droid.
And Bjorn tells her, Rain, that he's discovered an abandoned Weyland-Yutani ship and wants to use Andy to gain access, as Andy was manufactured by the company. So it's interesting because you have Weyland-Yutani still very much a part of this world, this universe, which predates Alien Resurrection, if they're keeping the same timeline. So it starts to give us a timeline of where this is going to sit. The second scene finds Andy and Bjorn alone, presumably aboard the previously mentioned Weyland-Yutani vessel. Bjorn is clearly disturbed by the situation, and Andy is attempting to calm the spooked Bjorn by telling him a joke. Bjorn isn't fond of Andy and said, I can't wait to never see him again. So to me, it reeks of this kind of like mercenary element, you know, staged, planned, that kind of thing. And the third, but bear in mind, this might not be in the movie, but it's still interesting. These are characters that are, you know, are going to be there, or at least elements of this is going to be there. But these scenes might not be. They might just made this up. I know the third and final scene sees Bjorn saving another character from a facehugger. The dialogue revolves around whether it had time to finish the implantation, which goes further some more to an element that this guy might be hired by Weyland-Yutani to creep aboard the vessel, or a mercenary to grab an alien. If they know about the creature, they know about the xenomorph, then logic dictates there's some element of planning going on. And then Bjorn's very agitated. and tries to escape. So trying to escape isn't good. And then Andy blocks his way and Bjorn shoots Andy. So it goes very much down to that sort of, well, clearly something's going on here, you know? Very,
Just
very
like
clearly
every
something's
other
going on
movie.
here. Well, I think this is quite cool. What do you guys think so far?
I am a huge Aliens fan. I mean, it's in my top 5 of all-time franchises for me. So, if they're getting back to space and back to the OG, original alien concept time frame, I'm going to be interested in seeing it.
Can one of you share your screen and share this article and play the video? I can't get audio to work, it seems. So I just chucked it in the private chat. If one of you guys can do that for me, that'd be great. Normally you, Tom, that does that.
Try it.
Ma doo-doo.
You want the guy talking is what you're looking for?
Yeah, it's the only one that plays. The others are like you got to log in and stuff. They're private videos, so you won't have permission to watch them anyway. But I want you guys to listen to the dialogue, because the dialogue to me, I did a video on this today and I'm like, the dialogue, not that great. So just play it, you'll see what I mean.
That's what I'm talking about, bitch. Oh, fuck my ass. Okay.
Well,
the hell?
What?
Hey. What's up, Rain? Long time no see. Too long, huh? Heard about your dad. Sorry. Between the hailstorms and new diseases every fucking cycle, I tell you.
Yeah. Everybody's dying. Come on. Show her.
So, last week we're loading the southeast tower. About a mile above ground.
Suddenly, beep, beep. The hauler picks up this beacon. Navarro tracks it. Spots this big Wayuu ship drifting away right above us.
Drifting?
Decommissioned. You know, probably damaged or obsolete. Like Dum Dum over there.
Cheaper to just leave them floating up there than to scrap them.
Come on. Just tell her what we need already. Probably gonna go ahead and say no anyways.
What do you need?
Andy. We need Andy. He's a Weyland Yutani synthetic and he speaks mother. He can help us access the ship's terminal in and out with no fuss.
It's impossible to get in otherwise. What do you think? I think we should wait another cycle and apply again.
Come on, Rain! Wake the fuck up!
Let us take Andy with us then. I'm not sending my brother up there.
Hey! He's not your brother. It is Wayuu damaged goods that your daddy used to own. And that's all he fucking is.
Getting close.
Yeah, you pause it now. Do you want to listen to some of that dialogue? Like, I absolutely... Yeah, I hated the dialogue.
Oscar performance.
Well, there's a few things to obviously consider here.
Can I say this up front? Andy, for the name of the android, is about as original as a trans man calling himself Amanda. I'm just going to say it right now. But
yeah, I mean, but it might. So it may be short for something. Maybe an acronym of some description.
Still,
like
just
they
the dialogue is junk.
The dialogue's awful.
It's this modern kind of take on. I hate that. It's like the problem with Star Trek right now. Yeah,
too modern.
It feels kind of like a street kid, kind of like a of an approach to that character.
It is important. Like I was trying to just cut in, is that this is an audition tape. You know, these the elements, the scenes here might not be in the film, might be, but it is an audition tape. Things are infinitely better when they're actually there, ready to go. Things like this. Most audition tapes suck, but to me, and that's why I wasn't like, oh, look at the acting. It was just listen to the dialogue. That's what I wanted people to listen to. It's the dialogue that's crap. It's too modern, right? It's too current day.
The original Alien had very straightforward dialogue. Like they were not like all. I mean, they had some moments where they had levity, where they were just chit chatting and stuff like that, where they're talking about work and stuff like that. But for the most part, they didn't act like they didn't bring in this whole like cultural aspect to the characters to where you didn't have one character being like all cowboy like and all that kind of stuff. That kind of shit didn't really come until later. It's like, I get it, you want to add some flair to some of these characters, but making them too modern doesn't. It's kind of just this typical thing where, oh, it was popular in this thing, so we'll do it now, and we'll do it now. So it's just a carbon copy of a carbon copy.
Well,
this is why I hated Covenant too, because all those characters are just horrible
Yeah, but this
freaking
actor-
characters. But yeah.
This actor could have performed this in 100 different ways, right? Different,
Yeah. I
pause
mean,
like that. It's the
yeah.
dialogue itself that Nate's talking about, and I agree with you. It's too. It sounds like today rather than in the past or in the future or whatnot. And there's you're right. I mean, it doesn't. And again, that can all be refined later, but it doesn't feel. I don't know. It didn't feel like an Aliens film, and it didn't feel like there was weight on the front or the back of it. And there's. But yeah, I'm surprised he didn't use like the word derelict about the ship and things like that. There's a lot of different choices.
No, 'cause I think derelict would have been a bit too on the nose for the derelict, the vessel on LV-246.
Right.
To be fair, so I don't hate them for that. It's the type of dialogue to me that it's too modern. It's just I'm not a fan of it, and I always cast my mind back to Aliens, and I'm like, you know what, like. And also Alien, of course, there wasn't that much cursing like in that line of dialogue. That short scene, there was so much bloody cursing in there. It was absolutely outrageous versus what they used to do in those films. I can't remember there was that much. The cursing in those films.
Honestly, I'm trying to even remember if there was an F word in the first movie.
I think there might have been. Like,
might have one or two, maybe.
Yeah, there was a couple.
It was a reactive F word. It wasn't.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't remember it being
Century
littered
stuff.
with in the second film as well. Like, I don't remember them being so littered with 4-letter words. The second one maybe had a little bit more, but that's because it came out in the 80s. But
well, it's also because they were Marines and they had
that too, and they had that kind of locker room talk.
Yeah. So I don't know. Look, I mean, I'm not such a fan of that. The dialogue, the acting, I'm not going to judge, and I don't think any of you guys should judge either. Just as an FYI.
No, but it's
audition
just
tapes generally are shit. So don't.
Well, I mean, it's
judge
absent. It's absent direction. Yeah, it's absent direction. Right.
My reaction, Nate, is coming from the fact that, look, I get it where you're coming from because you're a huge Alien fan. I come from the domain of there's 2 good Alien movies and that's it. Right? Like, that's where we're at. Like, we've had 2 decent ones. The rest of them we can kind of chalk up in this mediocre, somewhere around 6 or below level out of 10. And at this point, this just sounds like more of the same. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. You're not wrong there. Like, it would be nice to kind of get Alien back to the roots of what Alien and Aliens were. I don't have a problem with that so much.
Or expand on it.
Yeah, but this is not selling it to me, right? Like, the things that I found interesting in some of the other sequels, like with 4 and stuff like that, like they got too hung up on Ripley. Like, I'm glad they moved beyond that. That's great. But like,
superhero.
Yeah, but now they've destroyed the creature because
never destroyed the creature. All they've done, no, they haven't. They haven't destroyed the creature. They've changed the creature too much because they thought that it wasn't scary anymore. And this is a whole other discussion. But this is Ridley Scott saying.
Well, I was going to say this is more Ridley Scott trying to restamp it, but yeah.
But the Beast was never done. The Beast was never done, and all you did was make the same. You literally made the first film again. You retreaded the elements of the first film.
Well, to
again,
me,
in 2 goes with a different alien, and that's wrong. You don't do that. And I've always said, whenever I've covered this, is that what you should always do is you take the Alien franchise, because the Alien franchise and the Beast works. It's lasted throughout all of pop culture. It's existed. It's been captivating. It's a beautiful design, beautifully horrifying design, but it's great. And all you do is you then implant the alien into a new genre. So you go, right, body horror mad scientist. Boom, there you go. There's the inception point for a new Alien film. And that keeps it alive.
Oh, I agree with you there, but that's not even the point I was getting to. I'm talking about the origin itself, actually. Because like I was just fine with the mystery of just getting enough out of that first movie that these guys clearly made a weapon that was biological. It got away from them.
Yeah, that's what you needed to do, though.
That's all you needed. You didn't need to expand upon it in Prometheus and make it this It just
thing
like I said, it's Ridley Scott basically feeding
Yeah,
ducks at that point.
It's,
But
it's actually not though. So it is him, and it's also not him. Like, we're going way off topic, but the thing about Prometheus and Alien Covenant is that the main story elements are actually given to him by a producer, one of the key producers. It was like, oh, you need to do this. He was very hung up on the religious aspect and the sentiment there, and then that is something which him and Ridley were feeding off of. They weren't actually Ridley's ideas; they were a producer's ideas. I'd have to do some research again to figure out the exact name. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but
I know
it
was a very
Ridley
convoluted situation. But my point was they had to overcomplicate the simplicity of it. That to me was the issue. Because you're right, the Alien itself is a very simplistic. Well, I know, and that's part of the problem. And and then Covenant, you're right. He just remade the first movie only worse.
Yeah,
it was just like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, it's such poo. But anyway,
beyond that, like you're right. Like I would like a classic kind of, and I like that idea of the alien being able to be dumped into different kinds of sci-fi and horror.
That's how you keep it fresh. That's literally how you keep it fresh.
Well, that's how Predator's been working, basically, I guess. I mean,
I mean, but it's so easy to do as well. Like, there you go, mad scientist movie, but with aliens. So what it's so easy to do. Body horror film with aliens. Alien is body horror, but you just go a serial killer with aliens. There's so many ways you can go around it. So many ways. It's not hard. It's really not hard. But they just don't get that because they're so fixated on, the beast is done. It's not done. Shut up. Like, why
I don't ever have a problem with them.
So
like,
long?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them like evolving the beast. Like that was actually one of the interesting aspects I thought of Alien 3 was that, this idea that it would mutate with whatever the host was. That I have no problem with. That's cool.
Yeah, DNA sharing. That makes
But my issue is that,
the random
they took the simplicity of it basically being an analogy for nuclear weapons, basically, and put it into this alien creature. And I love the simplicity. You don't have to mess with that. Like you said, you take everything else around it and just dump that into whatever it is. As long as it's far enough out from the first two films, I don't think anybody will care. Because that's the problem we had with like AVP and some of these other movies. They're like scratching your head going, wait a minute, this is supposed to take place how many years before Alien? Yet we never even knew these existed. Now
you're on Earth.
And on Earth. And then the second one's even worse. Don't even get me started on that. But like, now we're getting way off topic here. But like, no, I would like a simplistic, decent alien horror-ish sci-fi film would be great.
Well, I think that's what we are getting with this, but I just hope they knock down some of that dialogue a bit more. I mean, it's shooting already, so I hope they sort that dialogue out because it's not good.
Well, that's part of the simplicity of it, right? Like, look at the first Alien as a whole. Like, it doesn't matter. The characters are interchangeable. They said it themselves. They're all truckers, so they all speak the same kind of vernacular. They don't have like a slang per se, but they do have, things they talk about that you can kind of relate to just from a modern standpoint, but it doesn't sound modern, right?
No. We didn't need to. Like, they were just working class Joes in that environment. It was pretty easy to
just talking about work and money and stuff like that, and then
getting their bonuses anyway. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. But let's hold out some hope, shall we?
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on that.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Avatar 39 for $5 says if Emma Watson wasn't in Harry Potter, then no one would look twice at her. She's average with a blank personality. Even her tartars look boring.
Hasn't she been looking quite ragged lately? From what images I've seen?
No, I think that was genuinely just a bad photo. In fairness,
okay.
Because there's other photos from that evening where she doesn't look as bad as that.
Okay,
I think it's genuine. Like mate. We've all took a bad photo.
No, I've not seen her that much, so I don't even know if she really acts all that much outside of.
No, she doesn't. I've not seen her
at all. So like, I can't really.
They don't have to, do they? Like that's what I like about what's his face? What's the bloody Harry Potter? What's his name?
Oh, he played Weird Al too, and I can't think of his name now either.
Yeah, exactly. It's just gone now. Just gone from your brain.
He's pretty much the only one who has a career. Yeah, if that's what you're going with it.
Well, but also Rupert, whatever his name is.
Rupert Everett or whatever.
Grint.
Rupert Grint's an interesting. So one, that's why I really like
Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's what I like about Daniel
Radcliffe
Radcliffe because he started his own. I'm pretty certain he started his own production company, if I remember rightly. And oh no, maybe that was the other one who played Frodo. Anyway, Daniel Radcliffe has been picking quite interesting choices in terms of acting, and he obviously clearly enjoys acting still. So that's, I think, good. That's what I like about him anyway. And then the same with Rupert Grint as well, right? He's been his choices are even more interesting. They are so far removed from what he from what he's typecast as with Ron. Really, really smart choices, I think. Very, very smart choices. Rupert Grint's been making. And then because he was actually in Knock at the Cabin recently. And that was
back to your point about the super chat, you're actually kind of right. As long as these kids, and I know there's certain things that are set in place now by older kid actors to where there's certain portions of their money that gets put away. I don't know, Paulie just stepped away. He could probably speak to a little bit of this coming from that domain. But like, if you're somebody who takes care of yourself and puts a little bit of money away otherwise, and between the residuals of something like Harry Potter, oh yeah, she could probably live off of that for the rest of her life. Yeah.
She'll never have to work again. She doesn't have to work again at all. But yeah, I don't think in terms of if she wasn't in Harry Potter, would anyone look twice at her? Are we just talking about attraction? I'm sure people would. I don't know. I don't care enough to do a breakdown of her looks. I don't know. Blank personality. I would actually say her being in Harry Potter has damaged her personality, quite frankly. I wouldn't actually say... I would say her personality has been deeply affected by her time in Hollywood. I think that's pretty evident with most people that end up in Hollywood and in the bubble that is Hollywood. But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think. I'm sure people would look twice at it. I don't know. Even though Tartars look boring. I'm sure some people like him. I don't know what you want me to say about that. Yeah. Anyway, go back to Rupert Grint. Rupert Grint, if I remember rightly, actually bought an ice cream van and used to drive around England giving out free ice creams to kids at one point, if I remember rightly. Pretty certain he did.
That's great.
Which is very, very kind of him. One of those things where you just go, oh, okay, Rupert Grint, ice cream truck. Let me have a look.
I thought that story was about to go in a completely different direction.
In Hollywood.
Actually,
no, he legitimately did. So again, like, what a nice dude. Makes loads and loads of money, and he's just like, Rupert Grint brought and kitted out an ice cream truck with Harry Potter fortune, with an estimated net worth of with an estimate. What is going on?
Ads.
Headphones. Someone. Headphones.
I have no idea. That's not me.
It can't be me. I blame Nick.
Did Nick step away? Maybe no. Okay.
No, I'm here.
Right.
That's weird.
It's very annoying. Anyway, with an estimated net worth of 50 million, Rupert Grint made a fortune at a young age. And then the former child stars turned his money into a charming activity, giving away free 99s to children in his local area. 99 is obviously it's an ice cream. It's just a vanilla ice cream with a 99 chocolate flake in it. What a nice chap. There you go. So we all talk about negativity here on this stream. We don't. What a nice
he's a nice fellow. He's a nice
looking
fellow.
up Emma Watson. She actually does work more in fashion now, and
really?
like that, from what it looks like. Yeah. And of course, she's an activist and an advocate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what all actors are. All actors are advocates.
Yeah. I mean, she does do some acting here and there, it looks like. She's been in a few movies since then, but nothing like of real,
Nothing you've seen.
Well, she was in Beauty and the Beast as Belle, but
that was terrible.
It also made $1 billion, we forget. Like, so we can't sit here and pretend she doesn't have a career. I mean,
no, but that was terrible film.
If you want to look at Christina Hendricks as a
Oh, thank you.
Apparently, there you go.
Yeah, Christina
thank you for the super
Hendricks.
chat.
Anytime.
Christina Hendricks. What is she? I can't remember.
She was in Mad Men. She's quite the statuesque redhead. She's in my
statuesque.
She's in my.
Is that short for?
If Jessica Rabbit was a real person, it's her.
It's her, Christina Hendricks. Yeah. But no, anyway. She's also age appropriate for me. So I mean, there's not,
Right. Anyway, so we've got to get it back on track before this fucking stream dives into shit again. Ladies and gents, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has apparently not tested well and is the worst DC film, apparently. This is from multiple sources and Tom's favorite, Mr. Lover, Jeff Snyder.
It's from Jeff 4 sources, I think, or more even.
Yeah, so we've got several insiders.
Who's Jeff Snyder?
Basically, oh no, who do you not like?
Zack Snyder.
Like? Zack Snyder?
No, the other reviewer guy. Who's the one that you don't like?
Oh no, I don't like Scotty Mendelson. He
there you go. Well, anyway,
Scotty boy. Yeah.
Anyway, several insiders. The DC comic sequel has not been very well received by test screening audiences. In fact, it's been referred to as the worst DC movie yet, which is.
Can I get a Tom said this for the last few months now?
I thought they did suit test screenings.
What did I say? What have I been beating the drum for the last few months? The problem with the movie isn't Amber Heard. It's because it fucking sucks, is what I've been told several times over.
Well, Big Screen Leak says there's a reason I've been avoiding any questions about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, but since ViewerAnon put it out there, it brings me no joy to back him up and tell you that test screenings for this film have not been good. Really hoping one fixes this movie before December. That's not happening. They won't spend any more money on it. Jeff Snyder says, I hear it's terrible, and that's why Momoa is going forward. But they can't say that yet because then it would be a lame duck.
Yep.
And DC is hoping to wring another $1 billion out of the box office. First one was awful too, so not a huge surprise. Yeah, there you go. What do we think? I mean, look.
Just throw Jack Ryan in the movie in a Russian submarine.
There you go.
And it will be fixed.
Well, the thing about this, right? Like, that's not a surprise, right? And I said this in my video, is that apparently it was literally in behind the scenes leaks. A bunch of Atlanteans go to the UN and lecture them about climate change. That is a main portion of this movie. That was my reaction as well. Like, it's just absolute garbage poo-poo, like utter nonsense. So, what do we think? What do we think, guys? Culture.
I'm not surprised. I mean, and again, it's one of those benefits of being friends with Tom and a few other people that would know when you hear that behind the scenes this film sucks rocks. You kind of have learned that it was somebody with a track record. Telling you that you're not surprised. Look, I mean, if it's not Amber Heard that's the problem with this film, and she's going to drive audience away because of her presence. Yeah.
Well, she's still not been included in any of the trailers, is she?
That's smart. Really, you don't want to just. We
haven't got a trailer for this yet, have we?
Didn't we get teaser footage?
All we got is a very little teaser footage. That's it. Yeah.
Teaser at DC Fandom last year, so quite.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, I would not expect to see her very prominently featured in any materials that we see prior to the film because nobody likes her, or a very small portion of humanity does. But I would imagine that this is not a good film, regardless of whether or not she's in it. And I would anticipate that this is not going to make money. I think this is going to be very disappointing. I mean, this thing could actually suck worse than Black Adam, and that would be saying something.
I don't think this will. I think. Look, I don't like Jason Momoa. I don't think he's a good actor. Okay, I don't think he's a good actor. I'm sure people have seen him in good things and they think he's good in C. Sure, fine. I don't like him as an actor personally. So, but even I can't deny the power that he has in drawing people to watch his terrible films. So
people will
feel like this.
but I agree
Yeah,
with
Pit
Nate.
People
Like
was
he's only
gorgeous.
good in certain roles. Like for instance, he was totally out of his league in Dune. Right?
Oh
Like,
God, it was terrible in June.
he was getting
Ah.
he was being like, if I had to pick one person who was the worst actor of that entire film, it was him. And it's just because he's being acted circles around by a kid who's half his age. It was one of the problems, but yeah.
Yeah, and didn't he die?
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
So we won't be in Dune
but
2.
he'll be back eventually.
In a flashback or something.
Spoilers! No, it's
Anyway, stop spoiling films, Tom. Even though adaptations of books, mother
that have been out for 50 years.
Hey, come on now. People may not have read the books. Come on, don't. Yeah.
You got to read a book to know what's happening in a film, Tom. Remember?
You think people actually read books?
Yeah, maybe sometimes. Animes,
being facetious,
mangas,
of course.
Maybe, sorry.
Yeah, they might read some manga. That's about it.
Yeah, or they might.
Paulie.
Or they might have this sitting on their desk. Oh wait, you guys can't even see it.
Can't even see it. Yeah,
Batman.
Death in the Family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, where we voted that dirty bastard to die.
Yes, we did.
Paulie, what do we think about this? Are you here? Are you dead? He's disappeared.
No, I'm here. I've been here.
Yeah, look at
I'm usually quiet when it's subject matter where other people are more passionate. About. I'm just like,
yeah, but you got an opinion. Do you like it's got bad test screenings?
Well, I didn't say I didn't have an opinion. I just
have you been hearing
give me
anything
opinion,
yourself,
then.
Paulie, about the test screenings or anything coming out of Aquaman?
No. I mean, Momoa's a pretty bad actor. He does Momoa well. There was that not to any of the screenings, but just as far as that, he's likable enough. He's but the that Furious trailer, the new Furious trailer.
I was terrible at that. Oh,
yeah. I didn't even know he was even going to be in that film. That's how much attention I've given to.
I mean, what a clown!
Series.
He's just playing himself.
He doesn't look comfortable on a motorcycle. I'm just saying.
Doesn't look comfortable full stop.
Standing around talking, just like he's like, I am I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's better when he doesn't talk. I mean, remember when he was Drago in Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just needs to grunt a little bit.
That's what I mean. In certain roles, you can plug him in and he's fine, right? Like
I picture him in like a Conan series or a Viking.
Well, he got to play
series
Conan already.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was before he really got big. And God, that movie was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know if we can blame him for that per se. But
yeah, that wasn't his fault.
Well, anyway, I think it's poo. It's garbage. I couldn't care less about this film, and I went on a weird rant at the end of my video, but I'm going to do it again. I'm so sick of fucking climate change messages in films. You know what, right? And I know I'm not the only one, right? I know I'm not the only one, but I know I'm not everyone, okay? But most people agree with me. They just want to watch a fucking film where they don't have to get lectured on anything. They can go eat a steak if they want, and they can drive a fat engine home. No one cares anymore because it's in everything. You check people out massively.
Yeah.
Most people just want to work hard, eat some good meat, and then escape to a movie and not give a fuck anymore. They don't care. Half the people don't care anymore. They're not interested because you've lectured them too much. People check off. They just go, no, I'm done. Not interested anymore. Don't care. Literally couldn't care less. Unbelievable. Like, just people don't... There's a way to do it. And also, you want to lecture people, fuck off to India and China and do it. Stop doing it in the West. Yeah. Fuck off to India and China. Especially Greta, you absolute little urchin of a person. You should write a new book. You seen this? Wrote a book. Selling it on paper. Shipping it around the world. On paper.
And on airplanes.
Fucking God. Anyway.
He said check off.
Just people don't care anymore. Like, stop including this shit in everything. No one cares. People, it's been done. No one's interested anymore. Anyway, whatever. Yeah.
I agree.
Most people agree. This is the thing. Like, I'm like, look, I know I'm not speaking for everyone, but I'm speaking for most people because I know I am. I know I speak for most people when I say that. Most people don't want to go to the film to get lectured on stuff that they sit and watch at the fucking news. No one wants to just go, oh, news channel. Oh, being lectured. Oh, okay. And then they switch off that and then they go to the movies. They're like, oh, I'm being lectured again. Oh, fuck. You know? Like, no one, where's the escapism? Where is it? I don't want to see superheroes go to the UN. All right? I want to see superheroes go to space and beat up aliens or other superhero things. I don't want to see them go and talk to politicians. Those are the most retarded things in bloody Black Panther Wakanda Forever. They're like, well, we know you've just invaded our country. It's like, well, that's war then, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're like, nah, don't worry about it, mate. Like, we literally know it's you, but they're like, yeah, don't worry. Oh, fuck off. Anyway. God, I'm so done. So shit. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. I'm not interested in this shit anymore. It pisses me off so much. I just don't care. And they only did it to them. Anyway, Daniel, Rocket Steady for $5.
Yeah.
Says Momoa is to blame. We all forgot how much of an environmental activist he is. He got angry at Chris Pratt over drinking a plastic bottle of water. Did he?
Gee.
What a bitch.
These people eat each other alive. I mean, I don't know on that part, I'm sure. But no, like you're right though, Nate. Your rant was completely spot on. I said this like yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, where I said I want to go back to the environmental movies where they were at least fun to watch, like Waterworld. You know,
You did say it yesterday.
Yeah, I did say it yesterday.
Yeah.
And we got on this topic of like also on Toxic Femme, like Carrie Smith has brought it up and a few other people have too. We've talked about it where it kind of goes with the times, right? When you're in these times of turmoil and we've been dealing with 2 years of pandemic bullshit, the last thing you want is reality to just keep creeping into your fantasy, entertainment. Go back in history during times of the most tumultuous times in our histories is when we've had the most where the movies that were the most fantasy oriented did the best, right? During the Depression, it was things like King Kong, Wizard of Oz. Like during the 80s when things were good, we wanted more serious affair, but then there was when times weren't so good in the early part of the 80s, we wanted less serious fare, like Back to the Future and Ghostbusters. We wanted fun stuff.
Yeah.
Star Wars, for instance, at the end of the 70s, like I said, that end of the 70s going into the early 80s, it sucked. But that last part of the 80s going into the 90s wasn't so bad. So that's when we started getting more serious films that were, more interesting, like Rain Man and stuff like that. Times change and you got to go with what way things are. If people are in rough times, the last thing they want to do is think about the real world. But when things are good, then they don't mind seeing a Philadelphia. Then they can take something like that in and it makes them think about, life a little bit more than they maybe were the day before. But that's not what people want to be reminded of when they can't even feed their kids. You know what I mean? That's the last thing people want to deal with.
It's what annoys me so much about the UK at the moment, just to get a little bit serious, is it is constant here. And it is on every single news article I ever see. It's like the cost of living crisis, the cost of living crisis. People can't feed their blah, 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 blah. And then you just get people are just like, oh yeah, we're just giving billions away. Like, fucking what? What? But I thought there was this going on. How are you giving billions of taxpayer money away? What's going on there? Oh, don't worry, but cost of living crisis. It's fine. I fucking hate anyway. Whatever.
No.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Sorry.
Mexican Iron Man
Mikey!
for $10. So, when can we count on this panel doing a review of top 10 movies to save the environment? Ha, kidding.
Number one,
the top 10
Waterworld.
movies to save the environment would be the most escapist films ever. Like Dune, for instance, right? Dune has an environmental message in it, but it's in a fucking fantasy world.
Yeah.
And it's not so much like, well, we must save because of the environment and you're all bad people because you eat meat. Fuck off.
Mad Max.
Fuck off.
Mad Max,
If I want to eat steak, I'm going to eat steak.
Me too.
I'm going to eat steak tonight.
Yeah, just honestly, this push for eating bugs and stuff, man. Like you can overeat on bugs and they can kill you. Like there are
Planet
bad
of the
things
Apes.
in there. Just God, it's so annoying.
There's a good list that you could have here. No, you're right, Nate. There's a great list of films that could be had that don't even sit there and remind you that they have an environmental message in it unless you really sit down and think about it.
Yeah.
We've already named a half a dozen of them. So
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, so anyway, moving on.
Monkey, you people
I'm actually
are monsters.
I'm actually really excited because we're coming up on the time when the restaurant wars happen. So I'm gonna watch Burger King go to war with Taco Bell. It's gonna be amazing. Gonna be so
impressed.
Where's Paulie?
He took a nap.
Well, he heard that. He should be here.
No, I'm right here.
He is, see?
Taco Bell.
So that's like the bat signal for Paulie.
Well, it's actually for Mikey, but it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's racist. Holy
It
cow.
is.
Gary for £5 says we need a good uplifting Superman.
I just don't find it funny. It's not that it's racist. It's just, if you're gonna use some racial jokes, be funny. It's like same shit. Come on, give me something good, man.
You know I'm better than that. That's why he's giving me shit.
I'm talking to all you mofos.
I don't do any of that. I'm a good guy.
Hey,
I'm a good guy.
hey.
Give me some controversial comedic stimulation here.
Another
go
Gary
loco.
with a funny
don't
spelling
get
Gary
loco.
name has a question for us here.
You guys just
Don't get
ignore
crazy-
me. You
don't
see,
get
that's
crazy
the
here,
brown
SA.
plight.
Don't get
We're
crazy.
just
here,
ignored,
SA.
Nate. We're always ignored, Nate.
Don't
That's
get
just the
loco.
brown plight.
Paulie, don't
That's
go
just
loco
it.
now. Man, I'm gonna have to mute you. Don't go
I'm
loco.
not gonna go loco.
Don't go
I won't
loco. Don't go crazy here, SA.
Okay. My name is Nate. I learned a new word today. It's cholo.
No, Paulie's got to put us in our place. He should make us do the like the Home Depot.
Did you see that?
I love those. Those are my favorite. Sorry.
I can bring it up if you guys want a good laugh.
I love those. I do. I'm sorry.
If you guys want a good laugh, we should
gonna
bring it
kill
up
Nate.
after the super chat. We're
Let's
gonna
get
get you
these
guys
super
really
chats first.
canceled.
Gary for £5 says we need a good uplifting Superman, but after what they did to Henry, I don't know if I care anymore. I think
we
got
gotta
to
remember that the same people that are making the new Superman didn't do anything to Henry. Like, we got to separate that. That's
apparently they did. Apparently James Gunn was brought on board to write a new Superman film ages ago, way before Henry. So yeah, kind of did, but kind of I don't know.
Well,
it was more Danny Garcia, to be honest.
Yeah.
Teague for $5 says, which Sonyverse movies are you looking forward to the most? Madame Web might be good. Don't hate me. Do you think the Sonyverse will beat Marvel? Sonyverse will definitely not beat Marvel. You know what? They only need 2 good films to start doing well, actually, I reckon.
They haven't been able to make 2 good films.
Well, no, Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man.
You can't count those. You can't count those because those are specifically the Spider-Verse movies. Oh, I hate those. But,
it doesn't matter. By the populace, they've been deemed to be good.
Yeah.
Wait, how are you judging that on box office receipts?
I was gonna say, I'd say let's hold on that.
No, like
let's hold that conversation until we see the second film's box office.
Mate, Craven's gonna beat everything. Right?
What?
It's a joke. I don't think Craven's gonna be any good. Shut up.
Right.
Come on.
I was worried. I was like, wait a minute.
Here's a problem with Spider-Man. Here's the Spider-Man has, because I will concede this much on the Spider-Verse. That works, but that's because it's variants on Spider-Man. The problem Spider-Man has with the general populace is that outside of a few of his rogues gallery, nobody knows the rest of the characters in Spider-Man's universe.
Well, Craven's got Russell Crowe in it.
Well, and it also has Quicksilver in it too, so we'll have to see how it turns out.
He's good, man. Aaron Taylor Johnson's good.
Yeah, I'm not
you haven't seen Bullet Train, Tom.
Oh, Bullet Train was so good. Oh my gosh.
Bullet Train.
That was a film that was shown in cinemas. So
I loved Bullet Train.
He was so good in it.
I even did a review of the Blu-ray that came out so close to coming out in theaters. I'm glad I didn't waste my time.
And you could tell that he had been working out pretty hard in that movie. In Bullet Train. Man.
That's culture. I even did my little review as soon as the movie was done. You could see the credits rolling in the background.
Good film.
It's like, this is an awesome movie.
Yeah. What is this you got here, Paulie? Some racism stuff.
Oh yeah, go ahead and one by one, go ahead and try to pronounce
Home Depot.
Okay,
No,
and then
No,
culture.
no.
No, hold on.
Walmart.
Let's go. Let's go in order. Culture.
One at a time.
Which am I
Culture.
starting with?
Top left.
Top
And
left.
what I'll do is I'll give you the correct pronunciation.
Are we
Home
talking?
Depot.
Are they
I'll stay out of
Latinx
this.
correct
Guys,
pronunciation?
come on. We're gonna do this
Oh.
bit.
All right.
Go culture.
Home Depot.
Tom.
AT&T.
Now you're supposed to just do the home. But all right,
You
go
just
ahead.
do
All
the
right,
Home
it's good.
Depot one.
Oh, Home Depot.
It's all right. It's all right. Okay, Nick.
Home Depot.
I was gonna say this isn't fair for me to do this because I've already done this week.
Okay, Nate.
Home Depot.
Okay, all right. Now let's go to the AT&T one. Go ahead, culture.
AT&T.
Nick.
That wasn't too bad.
Enti.
Nate.
AT&T.
All right, and now let's go to Walmart. That is Walmart down there, and culture.
Wait, so I'm going down to Walmart?
Yeah. Go
Walmart?
ahead. Say it again.
Walmart?
Tom.
Walmart.
Nick.
Walmart.
Nate.
Walmart.
Okay, now the last one right there, lower left, Culture Casino.
Pizza Papillon.
Tom.
Pizza Papillon.
Nick.
Pizza Papillon.
And Nate.
Papillon. You gotta say pizza as well.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right, I'll give you my. This is my. Very good, guys. Here we go. Home Depot,
Fuck it out.
AT&T, Gualma, Papillon.
You gotta do
Papillon.
Home Depot again.
Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Home Depot. So there you guys have it. You guys were all canceled. I'm canceled my own Latin people.
I love
They
it.
fucking hate me now. But if you
Oh,
have a sense of
actually,
humor.
No, what's
Tommy.
worse is that joke I added to it, Paulie. Home Depot, also known as employment agency.
Oh my.
Oh dear.
That's where I
Bozo.
canceled myself right there.
That's all right.
Mexican
That's all
Iron
right.
Man. Nate is the most
Yeah.
Mexican guy on this panel, including Paulie.
Haha.
It's probably true.
Probably closest. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Larry Guado, it says, speaking of Mexican Iron Men, greetings from Mexico on my last day here. Regarding Superman, what if they're just trying to catch up Superman multiversal versions to catch up to the 4 Batmen we have? Oh my god.
Wow.
Don't even, I mean, they're not gonna, don't posit that. That's
No. Don't give
that's
them that idea
outrageous.
even.
Yeah, Jesus.
We're only gonna have 4 Batman until we don't anymore. I'm just gonna say
Can you
that to
imagine
people.
that?
I'm just gonna keep saying that to people.
Oh my god.
Papillon.
Jesus.
That's the best pizza. I don't know.
I
There's a,
keep
honestly, I don't
Cavill
know
and
if I've ever
Batfleck
had it.
long term. I don't think they're not going to keep Cavill or Batfleck long term.
No, Affleck's done, man. He's flat out said it so
Yeah.
many
He's-
times
he's-
that he's
He's beyond done. He's done times 7. He's really
Yeah.
done.
Oh, we actually had a Al Humphrey super sticker. Sorry, dude.
Thank
So
you.
much, man. Sorry, just had to.
Paulie, thanks for bringing some levity to my life.
No, there's a video where
I did need that.
there's like an old Latin lady going to the different places and saying the names. It's amazing.
It's fucking
That's
amazing.
hilarious.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Gary says, "Fast Food Wars was that Demolition Man reference. If it was, I just got it."
Yes.
I didn't even hear you say about Fast Food Wars. What?
Yes. Yeah. And then
Yeah, that was when I did the Taco Bell
and then he did the Taco Bell thing, and Paulie came back on
Uh,
screen.
because I said I'm impressed.
I was getting up the next article.
No
I
worries.
remember Taco Bell had so many commercials for that when that movie came out.
Oh, so good. Demolition Man
It
was
was
so
everywhere.
good.
Which takes us nicely off to the next topic. Hellboy, the Crooked Man.
Oh,
This is
Lord.
a brand new Hellboy film in the works from Millennium, which are the same
David
people
Harbour,
behind the Red
or-
Sonja reboot. No David Harbour. Brand new. same studio behind the David Harbour one. This is interesting for a few reasons. Mike Mignola's coming back. Well, not coming back. He is doing the screenplay. This is the first time ever. It is based on the Crooked Man series comic that was highly regarded. Brian Taylor, who did Crank, will be directing it. So not exactly good, but if they're going for that sort of bombastic action, maybe it'll be funny, I guess. I literally have no idea. But yeah, so basically, first time in the franchise, Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, has penned the script alongside Dark Horse Comics collaborator Chris Golden. The story will expand Hellboy's world through one of the most beloved issues of the comic series. Now, interestingly, this is in association with Dark Horse Entertainment. So that's a pretty big thing. I didn't know Dark Horse were working on this as well. There's not much else really to go on here. Is that this is starting production like next month, if I remember rightly. So it's way far ahead than what everyone else thought about.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me have a look.
They're not wasting any time, evidently.
Yeah, starting next month in Bulgaria. There you go.
Because that other movie ain't even that old, really.
2019.
2019. I was gonna say, yeah.
2019. Yeah. So what do we got? Are you keen for another Hellboy or not? I guess is really the ultimate question. I don't personally give a shit. I think it's too soon for a reboot. But what do you? I mean, Nick.
My response is gonna be short because I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. I'm really not that interested in this series or this franchise. I saw bits and pieces of the original one, but it wasn't really my thing. So it's not my thing.
Okay. Tom? Tom's dead, everyone. Paulie?
Yeah.
You don't care.
Well, no, that was my
Yeah.
I mean, I like that the Hellboy movies, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
all of them? Did you like the last?
No, just the first two, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So different studio, different director.
I mean, you know, why not?
Yeah, I mean, look, if it's gonna be done well, I'll be happy. But you know, that's a big if, isn't it? Really, let's be honest.
Right.
It's a big if. Culture, you look like you want to say something there.
The first film was all right. The most recent film was terrible, and I have no hopes for anybody doing this properly. So, you know, I mean, they can try and do it again, which is what this is an effort to do. I just
talk about a downer take. Jeez.
Well, this I see as a rights retainer, you know.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Rights retainer. This is Millennium trying to keep the rights, but they're very. I think they're trying to ride the wave of their Red Sonja. I think they know they got something good of Red Sonja. Okay. I think personally.
And that other one was meant to be a jumping point for a new franchise for this, and it didn't work. So they're clearly going to try again, is what they're doing.
Yeah, well, this is what that is. Yeah, they're trying to make a series of movies here. So there's a little bit of background. The film will see Hellboy and a rookie BPRD agent stranded in 1950s rural Appalachia. So it's a period piece. It's a smart way of doing a reboot, is do a period piece away from anything to do with the last one. It does make sense from that side of stuff. There, they discover a small community haunted by witches, led by a local devil with a troubling connection to Hellboy's past, the Crooked Man. So there you go.
Yeah. Ooh, I mean, if they, I'm not against the idea, but
scary.
They're gonna have to do something better than that last one, because that last one didn't even. I own it, but I still haven't even cracked it open. Let's put it that way. Like, it didn't even entice me enough to want to watch it. So, like,
yeah, I mean,
I've heard mixed, but yeah,
it's dumb fun. I didn't really like. It's fine. It was dumb fun to me. Like, yeah, I don't know. Look, I'm keen for this if it's going to be good, but I mean, the fact that they managed to keep this under wraps is pretty bloody amazing. You know,
Kinda,
they're literally about to shoot next month, and they're like, surprise! Like, what? How did you keep this under wraps for so long? That's madness. That is absolute madness. Yeah, I don't know. The thing about the Crooked Man was actually debuted in 2008, which was to correspond alongside Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. So when that released, that comic series released at the same time. So I don't know. Could be good, you know. Like, I'm all for good movies. If this is good, I'm keen for it. Now they do say the statement is The Crooked Man is a departure from all previous Hellboy films, where Mike Mignola and the creator of the comics will finally shepherd an authentic version of his stories and characters in film form. And this is their statement. EFM in Berlin, basically trying to get distributors on board. This is the first in the series of films that will captivate audiences in familiar and new ways. Brian Taylor is an expert across the board, and I couldn't think of a better person to bring this story to life to show our audience this different and original Hellboy slate of films. I mean, I can think of better people than Brian Taylor, so you're not a very good president of Millennium Media, Jeffrey Greenstein, if you can't think of someone better. I mean, you might not be able to afford someone better, but fucking hell, I can think of someone better than Brian Taylor. So if I can, make me president of Millennium Media, please.
It's Hollywood speak.
I was gonna say, yeah.
He has to say that.
Yeah, I know.
I think, yeah. But
So,
I
I mean,
just,
it's just dumb.
I tell you what, I vote you should actually take over Millennium Media, or just this project.
Yeah, I'd be keen for that.
Yeah.
Someone vote me in.
Yeah. And we get Paulie to be like one of the stars in Hellboy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or a villain.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Gualmar.
Are you going to be Namor? Oh wait, he's not in Hellboy.
Papillon.
Paulie, we could make a Papa John biopic and have Paulie play Papillon. We'd do that. How about we do that? That'd be great.
Would that be
Papillon.
cultural appropriation?
Don't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, you know, it's rather one-sided, but I'll take it. Whatever. I'll
I
get
mean, it
whatever
wouldn't be the first time a Latino played
an Italian,
would it?
No.
Especially a plumber.
Yeah, Johnny Legs.
Yeah. Although Johnny Legs has now come out and said that he's got such a fucking ego.
I know, right?
He came out and said, I was used as a lure by the studio to get Michael Keaton to want to be the Vulture.
Does this motherfucker thinks he's Robin Williams or something?
Oh, goodness me. That guy is so high.
Okay, for context, what Nate's talking about is, so Johnny is claiming that they used him to entice Michael Keaton to take the Spider-Man role. Like, they were offering him the role only so that Michael Keaton would take it. Which would make sense, only it's complete bullshit.
Michael Keaton gets jealous of Johnny Leguizamo.
Yeah.
It's basically what.
And I think I know where he's rooting this from. Now, back in the day, Warner Brothers used Robin Williams, and they did this this is actually legit, and they did do this on purpose, to try and get Jack Nicholson to sign on to the Batman, with no intention of ever having Robin Williams play the Joker.
Yeah.
And then, after they apologized for that, they enticed him into Batman Forever, only to use him to get Jim Carrey to sign on to play the Riddler. And he vowed to never work for that regime of Warner Brothers ever again. And I don't think he did make a movie for Warner Brothers for like the next 10 to 20 years, if ever again. I'd have to go back and look. I don't know if he did. So in that case, he was being used because he's Robin frickin' Williams, right? Like, he's an actual legitimate draw. He could sell the roles. Johnny Legs, as big as he is, there's no way that they're on the same plateau. Help me out here, Paulie. Michael Keaton is way, like, he was fucking Batman. Johnny Leguizamo was Luigi. Like, I mean,
it's not. It's just so dumb.
Like, they never had the same kind of career heights as the other. Like, it just no.
This is just a dumb comment.
I mean,
he's been making
okay,
some dumb comments recently.
He's more of a backup choice, was my point. Like at that point,
I mean,
I'm
I
sorry.
honestly, as far as a pure actor, versatile actor, Johnny Legs any day.
Well, that's not the question.
Keaton, though, is a household name.
Yeah,
That's the
has
question.
He has been, and the studio knew that, and so they probably had Johnny as a backup, and you I think most injustices that Johnny brings up are ones that have been done to him, and where I can side and understand some of his points of view. He always goes off the deep end.
yeah, massively.
Just this I'm just trying to, I can't keep up with all of the so
Mate,
I
he's
just did
banging on about
I just-
cultural appropriation all the bloody time. This guy.
well, there's a lot that he goes. See, there's a lot, and when he crosses the line is when he goes after other Latino actors. Like you just don't do that. You just don't. You shouldn't go after other actors anyways. Trying to shame them for not for changing their last names. I don't know what. That's a no. I just put up a video where the producer of Elena of Cuba, which is that James Franco movie that he got cast as Fidel, the producer gave an hour-long interview and talked about all his choices. This is the guy that cast James Franco. Fantastic talk. Oh, I mean, if you guys ever want to make an indie film, if you want to get insight into how this guy did it, you got to watch that thing. I only picked out two subjects. One was the elephant in the room, as far as John Leguizamo calling for a boycott of his film.
Fucking shut up.
Right? And so the producer said, I actually want to thank Leguizamo because he got Joe Rogan, he got all these people to back me up.
Yeah, he just
For
looks
artistic
stupid
freedom.
when he comes out with these
Yeah.
comments. He looks so.
And the fact is, this guy who independently is produced, and the film's shot, the film's already been shot, independently got it funded, cast, hired people in front and behind the camera, 98% Latinos. That was his choice. And he's like, why is this guy coming after me when this is what I've done? And so that's when Johnny Legs goes off the deep end because he doesn't have all the facts. And here's one more interesting thing about that, Nate. Because they asked, well, why Franco for the role? And he says he's got the name value, but more importantly, he looks like a young Fidel Castro. Yeah. And he's got the acting chops to do it. Now,
wasn't even like, Castro's daughter came out and was like, "Yeah, no, like that's fine."
Well, it's about her. It's about her life. Yeah, it's about her life story.
But she came out and was like, "Yeah, that's fine." Like
she's totally.
He literally looks like it. So yeah, like what?
So this is one thing that I didn't know about either, and I was talking about it in the video where the producer's like, "Hey, we looked at John Leguizamo, but he's 5'6".
Yeah, that's funny. That's hilarious.
It's like, yeah, dude, if you're too short, this is the thing with some actors, and I'm not even talking about the ones that get to the heights of Leguizamo, because Leguizamo has had an incredible fucking career. Come on.
Yeah, that's not even what I meant. What I meant though was the household name thing, like you said. Yeah.
No, you're on point, Tom. You're on point. I'm just talking about actors that are trying to, whether they made it or whether they always tend to have a grandiose idea of who they are as a talent. No one likes to be typecast. Yeah, well, they don't like to be typecast. And the thing is like, what do you want to work, or do you want to not work and think you're the leading man for every role? Because that's just not the case, and that's not the case with Legs. Legs has always been a fantastic supporting actor, great character actor. I don't think he's ever going to be that romantic lead. Call me crazy.
No, of course not.
Call me crazy. But
yeah, that train has really left the station at this point.
Yeah. And what's so funny is that this guy's working now more than ever. Violent Night, The Menu, fantastic in those movies, and then he's in a new TV show. It's like, come on, guys.
Well, he had that great turn in John Wick, which kind of reminded people who he was again, as far as the general audience and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Leguizamo is short for Fidel Castro. Yeah, he's short because Fidel Castro was this tall, think of Liam Neeson. That's Fidel Castro.
Well, actually, we're going to be talking about Liam Neeson.
That's just funny.
Now.
I was going to say, I just saw
Here
that.
is the next topic.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Liam Neeson. Bet Nick's going to love this topic. Salivating.
Well, off of what Paulie was saying, though, we just found out that he was up for the role of 007 as well.
Well,
they turned it down.
Sure. My main comments on this, and I find it hilarious. Liam Neeson's great. He just doesn't care anymore. He literally couldn't care less because he's reached a stage in his career where he just does not give a toss anymore. So he had an appearance on Watch What Happens Live on Thursday, or Watch What Happens Live. And Neeson basically was like, look, I don't want a spin-off. I don't care. And he goes, no, I'm not angling for a spin-off. There's so many spin-offs of Star Wars. It's diluting it to me. And it's taken away the mystery and the magic in a weird way.
Sorry, what would you even do? Because he's too old now to play a prequel spin-off.
Well, but it's not the point, is it? Like because he did the voices anyway, but it's just so.
I mean, I guess if you just did a voice, but yeah,
but that's the point. It's that he's never. He could have been offered a spin-off, maybe. Obviously, he said some pretty. He got cancelled basically not too long ago, and he's sort of slowly creeping back in. But he just doesn't care. He came out recently and called Conor McGregor an annoying little leprechaun as well, which absolutely made me just so funny. Because that guy needs to fuck off as well. He's such a dipshit.
He's coming back.
Yeah, I literally couldn't care less. Conor McGregor is such an annoying butthole. It's like, how many old men do you need to beat the shit out of before everyone just goes, fuck off, mate? Nick, what do you think about these thoughts? Because I agree with him. There are too many spin-offs. And there are too many spin-offs about the same normal characters that we've already seen and known. Like, I think there's an exception to something like Andor, for instance. I know not everyone likes Andor. I get it. But that's something where you spin it off and you do something better with it. Like the prison stuff, for instance, in Andor, they're literally building the Death Star. Like, that's interesting. It's how those are member berries, but in a not member berry ham-fisted way.
Mm-hmm.
These spin-offs, especially Ahsoka, fucking Ahsoka's in everything, man. And they even like Dave Filoni even toyed with her being the one that was going to train baby Grogu. Like, go away. That's
Filoni's baby.
Well, what do you think? Anyway, you're our resident Star Wars lover. What do you reckon?
I completely agree with him. And it comes down to, Robert Meyer Burnett said something very interesting in our sequel trilogy documentary where he's talking about, once a corporation takes over, the corporation's interests become more important than the individual story that was created by one man in his mind, with merchandising and characters that sell and looking at numbers. And it seems like they are just throwing out so much stuff out there to see what sticks, and then kind of build off of that. And I agree, it's diluting it. I am in the camp of quality over quantity. Originally George Lucas Star Wars, there was like 13, 15 years between the sequels, and then of course you had the Disney sequels. But when Star Wars would come out, it was an event. People went opening night, dressed up. It was a big, huge event, and Disney is now just making it normal running every year thing.
Yeah, just a yearly thing.
Yeah, it's not an event. And I think that takes away from the magic. Now, as a fan, I want all the Star Wars I can get, but I completely agree with what he's saying here. And that's why the 90s was really big for Star Wars, because even though there weren't any movies coming out other than the special editions they released, and then of course Phantom Menace in 99, but you had the comics, the Dark Horse run of comics that were good. You had the Timothy Zahn books. You had a lot of the EU books coming out. You had great stories and characters in the video games. The video games for Star Wars was huge in the 90s, and that kind of kept it alive without oversaturating it with tons of different movies and TV shows and all that sort of stuff. There were other outlets for Star Wars content. And I wish Disney would pull back and look at making a more quality product, and then branch out into other things like when they took over and they gave EA the exclusive rights to make Star Wars games. I was like, Star Wars gaming is dead now. And it was. The Battlefront was decent. Battlefront 2 was a complete disaster at launch. But we really didn't get a whole lot. They gave us, we got like two or three games, in like a 10-year time frame. Now they're letting other studios and stuff do games, which is good, but yeah, it's too much stuff out there, and like when Kathleen Kennedy came out back in I don't know, when 2015 or 2016, whenever it was, and had all the different Star Wars stuff up on the board behind her, and it was just like all these shows, and it's like, holy shit, man, that is a ton of stuff they're doing. And we've only gotten a small portion of any of that. So yeah, I'm in agreement with them. It's getting oversaturated with non-quality stuff, and it is taking the magic away some.
Well, as well, like to just to quickly touch on the Ahsoka element, is that she's included in things which are completely irrelevant and would benefit her not being in. So like Tales of the Jedi, right? Like her 3 episodes were garbage.
The Book of Boba Fett, people were furious that they shoehorned her in those Luke scenes, and we never even got the meeting between the two of them. That's what fans of the Ahsoka character, and of course fans of Luke, that they were wanting to see. They were wanting to see that initial meeting between the two of them. And then when we see them, she's just in there. It's like, oh yeah, we know each other.
Yeah, we're cool. We hang out.
When did this happen? How did that meeting go? So again, it's they shoehorn a lot of stuff in there. They put too much stuff out. It's not good quality, in my opinion. So yeah.
So in other words, you agree with Liam Neeson. You agree with Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Star Wars has been dead for me for a while.
Yeah. And that's the case with a lot of people.
Yeah, massively. Tom?
Oh no, like at this point I've had nothing but apathy for Star Wars. I've had my whole divorce with it. I chalked the whole thing up to being like the original films are that great love you had, that high school romance, and then the prequels were you thinking you were going to get back together, and then you realize it just wasn't as good as you thought it was. And the sequels were, you're older, you're more mature, you think you're more responsible, you think things are going to be better this time, you can give it one last shot. Then you realized it was just worse than it ever was before, and it was just a whole big charade, and this bitch catfished your ass. So to me, at this point, I had to just like divorce myself from it, literally, like just cut and dry. It's like, it's sad to see it go. And we've gotten to the point kind of with the Alien thing earlier where we have, less good Star Wars than we do bad anymore. So you get to a point when you're like that, where I'm just like, is it really worth harboring a love for a franchise where I only like 2, 3, maybe 4 movies tops? Right? Like, I mean, it's like that I would actually watch on any regular basis. Like I used to watch the Star Wars films every year, if not multiple times a year. It's gotten to a point where I've really, really kind of just backed off from them. It's just,
You reminded me of something, and again, this comes from a kid who actually saw the original run of the films in the theaters. I mean, I was in the theater in '77, so you know, and Star Wars was my security blanket, right? You know, I had them on VHS tape the very moment you could possibly own them, right? And then I bought the collector set the very moment that it came out, and so on and so forth. So, and that was my thing I could always go back to and watch, right? I'd watch a few things like that. Star Wars was one of them. You know, Star Trek 2 was something that I'd, you know, watch on the regular. And you know, you would go back and, you know, if you were sick in bed, you know, until the Lord of the Rings films came out, and then that they would made it into the, like, you know, sick in bed for a week. That was like part of the thing that you would do, right? Watch the stuff that you love. And now, you know, I other than the first 3 films, right? There's really, which, you know, episodes 4, 5, and 6, whatever you want to call them, I've completely lost touch with it. And I think a lot of fans are there. And apathy, Tom, you chose that word properly. You know, and I can still revel in the things that were good. That's why I like hanging out with Nick and Coach. But, you know, good's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. You know?
Yeah.
Poignant way of putting it.
Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up, ladies and gents. I know Paulie's pushing the after party, apparently.
Yeah.
But I didn't give my my 2 cents on this.
Oh, you have sense?
Oh, let's have the Latino perspective.
Okay, let me get my
Almost
pesos
went
here.
I was going to say, almost went there.
It's
Where are they?
10
Where are
pesos to contribute.
You guys want to see a great Liam Neeson film? Go see Marlowe. It was a lot of fun. That's all I got to say.
Is that it? That's your input.
I really liked Marlowe, and it just came out. He plays he plays
This is why I didn't ask you.
hard-boiled
Paulie.
detective.
God.
Well, I mean, I was commenting
Don't
while
give a
you're
shit
reading
about
the
Star Wars.
No. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I didn't ask you. You're like, why didn't you ask me? For obvious
Furt.
reasons. God.
Furt.
PP
Furt.
face.
And now everyone's cursing at me in the chat. Curse away.
Yeah.
Curse
Oh,
away.
we got a super chat from Gary for £5. Says, watch the gameplay of the cancelled Soul Reaver game. It looks like it had nothing to do with the original games, but it looks good. I wish they made it. Yeah, it's like something or other. I can't remember the name, but it does look good. That is old, man. That is well old. Anyway, the HCast episode 11 has come to an end. Technically 12, but we'll push it to 11 anyway. We have coming up. Did I miss your member chat? Did I, Olaf? Paulie, are you not saving the member chats?
Did you?
You're not doing the member chats.
Oh, you know what, Olaf? Paulie stepped away a bit ago.
What are you talking about? I'm right here.
No, you went away.
Oh,
for a minute, and I think that's when he sent it. I lost it. Darn.
And he DM us, Olaf. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I blame Paulie.
Why?
Okay. Can we talk about the new James Bond?
Oh, no, I need to get to bed. I'm coughing.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
can we do that?
Can we do that on Thursday?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Right. If you send me some links, absolutely. Oh dear. Right. So we're rounding this out. Paulie's got the after party. You'll get redirected anyway after this stream, so head on over there. Culture Casino, Nick, Tom, Paulie, everyone's channels are linked down below in the description box. If you enjoyed any of their input, head on over to their channels, their respective channels, and hit subscribe. Check them out. You might like their stuff. I'm sure you all will. I wouldn't recommend them otherwise. Why would I not? So thank you all so much. Please, Olaf says, how well did Pooh horror movie do concern a box office? I don't have the numbers on that. No, I literally have no idea about that yet. And it didn't get a worldwide release either.
Oh, is that movie out?
Yeah, it didn't get a worldwide release though, only like North America, if I remember rightly. So I don't have the information on that yet.
It was like a Fandango release on top of it all, so it was probably very limited.
We'll have a look for the next one. But it didn't get a wide release, so it already made some good money anyway. In fairness, so we'll see. But guys, thank you all so much for watching. Join us on Thursday for another live stream, HCast episode 12, with some interesting topics to cover. And then, on Friday, I'll be watching Cocaine Bear, so stay tuned for my review there. But from me and everyone else, thank you all so much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you
Later.
for joining. Peace out, ladies and gents. Bye-bye.